Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press morning podcast for January 14, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Firstly, diplomatic efforts between Japan and South Korea are underway, with the United States announcing its support for these efforts to promote regional stability in the Asia-Pacific region. The situation remains fluid, but our team will continue to provide updates on this evolving story. Secondly, protests in Iran have entered their third week, with thousands demanding an end to the ruling clergy and economic reforms. The U.S. is considering various options to support the protesters, including boosting communications to circumvent the regime's internet blackout and increasing economic sanctions. We'll keep a close eye on developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. Lastly, tensions between the White House and the Federal Reserve have escalated, with President Trump's calls for lower interest rates sparking concerns about the central bank's independence. The president's plan to cap credit card interest rates at 15% has raised eyebrows, with experts warning of potential consequences for consumers and lenders. Our exclusive interview with Mark Malik, Chief Investment Officer at Siebert Financial, highlights the risks of undermining the Fed's independence. These are the top stories we're following today. We'll dive deeper into each topic throughout the day, providing analysis and insights to keep you informed. Now, for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and she'll know what's right now. I'm Barbara Waters. Firstly, in the UK, the government has made a U-turn on its plans for digital ID, dropping the proposal to make it compulsory for workers to have a digital ID to prove their right to work. This change comes after widespread criticism and concerns over individual liberty. Secondly, we're following the situation in Iran, where limited international internet access has been restored after an extensive nationwide shutdown. However, this restoration comes with notable restrictions, including limitations on online chats and posting comments. The Iranian government's move is seen as an attempt to control the narrative and limit the flow of information. Lastly, we've also been covering the UK government's initial proposal for digital ID and its implications for individual liberty, as well as the significant development in Iran, where protests have led to a nationwide internet shutdown and subsequent restoration with restrictions. We'll continue to provide updates on these stories as more details emerge. For now, it's clear that governments around the world are navigating complex issues of technology, governance, and individual rights. We'll keep a close eye on these developments and bring you more insights in our upcoming editions. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, global trade developments are shifting gears. Coal prices may decline due to reduced demand from China, while soybean prices might rise as a result of increased competition for supplies. Meanwhile, aluminum and copper prices have taken a breather after an explosive start to the year. Secondly, technical indicators are flagging deeper weakness across Nifty 500 stocks. Out of 500 stocks, 410 are trading below their short-term moving averages, and 320 are below their long-term moving averages. This suggests broad-based weakness, with sellers dominating across sectors. However, analysts believe that the market is approaching oversold territory, which could be a good opportunity for investors to buy quality names with strong earnings. Lastly, the Reserve Bank of India is expected to hold its repo rate unchanged in February, opting for a wait-and-watch approach as it navigates rising inflation and shifting growth dynamics. The central bank may inject additional liquidity through open market operations to ease borrowing costs, but experts are divided on whether this will be enough to support the economy. Remember, investors should remain cautious and keep a close eye on developments in the India-US trade deal, global markets, and the RBI's monetary policy decisions. Stay informed with the AI Daily Press, and we'll help you make sense of it all. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for daily updates and analysis on the world of finance and commerce. And as I always say, don't let market volatility get the best of you. Stay calm, stay informed, and stay ahead of the curve. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, NASA and private startup GrewSpace are making headlines with their ambitious plans for the moon. NASA is developing a lunar surface reactor, while GrewSpace is working on a lunar hotel, which could be operational by 2028. This marks a significant step forward in commercial space tourism and raises questions about accessibility and environmental impact. Secondly, SpaceX is making progress towards building out the pad at NASA's Cape Canaveral site for the first Starship launch from the Space Coast. The Starship program represents a major step forward in reusable launch technology, with potential missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. However, significant technical challenges need to be overcome before it can become a reality. Lastly, we touched on a fascinating story about a mysterious phenomenon in space, where NASA and a private startup are collaborating to develop new technologies that could drive innovation and strengthen national security. As we look to the stars, it's essential to maintain a sense of wonder, curiosity, and critical thinking. The next giant leap for humanity is just around the corner, and we're excited to see how these developments will shape the future of space exploration. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Good morning, everyone. First, the Philadelphia Eagles are searching for a new offensive coordinator after parting ways with their previous one. Sources close to the team indicate that they may opt for a seasoned veteran or take a chance on a younger coach. Next, we have an exciting weekend of football ahead as the NFL divisional round kicks off on Saturday. Our expert model has simulated each game 10,000 times, providing predictions for each matchup. We'll be keeping a close eye on these games to see if the top seeds will prevail or if underdogs will pull off stunning upsets. And, in shocking news, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin has announced his decision to step down from his position, effective immediately. This marks the end of an era in Pittsburgh, where Tomlin became the youngest head coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl at 36 years old. The Steelers will now begin their search for a new head coach, with several candidates already being rumored as potential replacements. We'll be keeping you updated on these stories and more throughout the day. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. First, we looked at the controversy surrounding Hope McMath, an art history teacher in Jacksonville, Florida, who was removed from her classroom due to social media posts she made following a tragic event. Despite an investigation finding no evidence to support most of the allegations against her, the district has refused to reinstate her, raising important questions about free speech and professional conduct. Next, we traveled to Dublin, Ireland, where the future of the complex, a beloved arts centre, hangs in the balance due to funding uncertainties. With an emergency motion passed by Dublin City Council and hopes for a breakthrough in an upcoming meeting between the Arts Council and the City Council, the community is holding on to hope that this cultural institution can be saved. Lastly, we touched on the story of Charlie Kirk's assassination and its aftermath, including the reaction from various groups and individuals. We also mentioned the removal of Hope McMath and another district employee in Jacksonville, which has sparked a lawsuit alleging a campaign targeting teachers over protected speech. These stories highlight the complexities of free speech, cultural preservation, and the importance of balancing individual rights with community needs. We'll continue to follow these developments and provide updates as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. We've got a quick rundown of the latest celebrity news for you today. First off, let's talk about love, or rather, the lack of it. We've seen a string of shocking breakups in the past few weeks, from Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom to Marion Cotillard and Guillaume Canet. Even reality TV stars like Lydia Gonzalez and Milton Johnson from Love is Blind have called it quits. It seems like no one is immune to the ups and downs of relationships. On a more inspiring note, we're praising Nick Jonas for his courage in speaking out about mental health and social anxiety. After stepping out of the Golden Globes ceremony, fans speculated that he might be struggling with social anxiety, and Nick himself responded by using the moment to raise awareness about mental health. We love that he's using his platform to normalize conversations around mental health and remind us all that it's okay to not be okay. And finally, let's not forget about the power of friendship in Hollywood. From Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston to Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, we're celebrating the unlikely yet strong bonds between celebrities who prove that true connections can be found in the most unexpected places. Stay fabulous, and we'll catch you in the next one. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David at Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we look at the plight of Pacific Island nations facing the devastating impacts of climate change. Rising sea levels, intensifying storms, and saltwater contamination are threatening the very existence of these island communities. The international community must come together to provide support and take immediate action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. In Australia, former Greens leader Adam Bandt has taken on a new role as the chief of the Australian Conservation Foundation. His mission is to leverage people power to drive change and push for stronger environmental policies. This comes as a recent report reveals that the Albanese government approved the clearing of over 300,000 hectares of threatened species habitat in 2022, highlighting the urgent need for effective conservation measures. Lastly, groundbreaking research has shed new light on the lives of Neanderthals during their final days on Earth. These ancient humans faced significant environmental challenges, including a drying climate, but demonstrated remarkable adaptability in their diet and cultural practices. The findings offer a nuanced understanding of our ancient relatives and their contributions to human history. These stories remind us of the intricate relationships between human societies, the environment, and our planet's fascinating history. As we move forward, it's essential to acknowledge the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in our pursuit of a more sustainable future. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.